Hey everyone, this is Real Estate Riches Podcast, and boy, is it going to be rich, full of the wealth and the tips and the tricks of all kinds of successful agents, because that's what you want to be, right? A business builder who has success in their business. Well, that's what we got going on here. And I'm going to have all kinds of agents, men, women, young or older, sharing all their stuff because there's technology, there's just how do you build your business? There's so many questions, right? So let's learn from some of the best. Gather your wealth and build your business. That's what this channel is all about. And I'm excited to bring it to you. I'm Kathy Burns and I'll be your host. And stay tuned. Let's get at it, right? Hey everybody, welcome to Real Estate Riches. I'm here today with Teresa Cowart and I'm excited to have you. Hey girl.
Hey, how are you?
Great. So today we're going to learn some nuggets from Teresa. And let's just start with, a brief bio. How'd you get into real estate? What's your story, girl?
Oh gosh, my story is kind of comical. I had been HR, human resources for Hershey Foods. They had a plant down here and they sold our plant. So I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I bought a tanning salon, kind of bored with that. And then I was driving first a little bit of retail therapy. That to me means go to TJ Maxx. And I was driving down the road and I was just like praying, God, I know this is not what you want me to do. I'm like bored, but I don't want to move. My kids are here. It just didn't make any sense to me. And I looked up and there was a sign from God, like literally, and it said real estate classes and they were starting the next day. So I
Get
pulled
out.
into this little place. I signed up for real estate and that's how I got into real estate. So
Wow.
nothing like I thought and I prayed over it and I researched it. Oh no, I was just driving down the road and decided to do it. So
I love that story.
yeah,
So you've got a big team, don't you?
I do. I do. We have about 25 agents and about 8 or 9 staff right now.
Wow.
Um, and a lot of my agents are relatively newer because we've always come in 2020, 2020, 20, and then now we're starting to try to go back into that growth mode. And I like new agents. I like agents with no bad habits. Like I will take somebody who's been doing it for a while as long as they fit our culture. But I
Mhm.
really do like to take them and bring them in and teach them our way and
Yeah. Yeah.
and hold them accountable because nobody holds anybody accountable anymore. And then turn them into little rock stars. And it makes my heart happy when they succeed.
Yeah.
And, you can't, everybody doesn't succeed, but we have a really good track record. Our per agent productivity is probably one of the highest of anybody I've ever seen, any other team. Like I talk to people all the time because I'm in coaching and all that.
Right.
And we've done some things on that on stages about how do you get there. And I'm like, I feel like I just grab people who have that inside. Tell
Yeah.
everybody, I'm like, I can teach you how to sell real estate. I can't teach you how to have that right heart. You kind of have to come
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
But if you have the right heart, like we can make this happen together. Like we can do
Right.
this.
Boy,
So
isn't that the truth? Man, I love somebody that's eager and hungry and ready and dives in. What a difference. Instead of
mhm,
pulling them along, it's like, I'm not pulling
yeah.
you. I'm done with that.
Well, I can't teach you how to motivate yourself from within. I can give you
Mhm.
every tool on the planet, but if you don't want to use them, you don't want to come to work.
Yeah.
Like, I can't help you. And everybody thinks it's this career that you can just come and you get to be flexible. And I'm flexible to work like 80 hours a week instead of the normal 40. But for the most part, we just do a lot of upfront talking before they ever join so that they understand
Yeah.
we have parameters, we have accountability roles. We will give you, but you got to do something with it. And
Hmm.
if you don't, then we have to have a discussion about,
That's a good point. So when you get to that, somebody, they're just not pulling their weight, they're not doing it. Do you just have a heart to heart and say, this isn't for you?
we do. I mean, I usually don't, I'm not the person who fires people like that. I
Hmm.
just bring them in and I'm like, okay, so tell me what it is that's holding you back. Tell me what you're not getting from us. Tell me how I can help you,
Yeah.
and let them self-discover
Yeah.
what it is that needs to happen. Or most of the time they self-discover that this is not the right career for them.
Right. I,
Either way, like I don't want anybody to leave all mad at me. I want you to be able to leave
right.
with grace and dignity. If you're not going to put in the work, you got to go. And it, you're just, most of the time they self-eliminate. That's my term
I
for
think
it.
so too.
They just decide that
Mhm.
they're not pulling their weight. The culture of our team is like one of giving and helping.
Yeah.
And at some point, if you're not giving and helping too, then you don't feel comfortable where we are.
Right. I noticed I watched a lot of your social media. I was checking you out, girl.
Oh, okay.
And
So,
well, what I really felt, and that's the truth of it, what I felt was it's a very loving environment. The team comes first. We give back, we give back. I
Mhm.
want to make sure that they rise versus me rise. I'll
Right.
rise as they rise. It's kind of the feel that I got from your how you described everything in all your different medias.
It is. It is. Like my grandmother played a big part in raising me, and her thing was, to whom much is given, much is expected. And
Mm-hmm.
I have worked my fingers to the bone for years to get where I'm at. But
Mm-hmm.
now it's more about legacy and like
Yeah.
passing the baton to other people and helping them be successful. Because I say this, and my kids are like, "Oh, mom, you're being morbid." But when I die, I don't want everybody to come there and say I was a great realtor. I want to
Yes.
say she was such an amazing person, or not say anything at all. I don't care if you say anything at all, but
Yeah.
that's how I want to be remembered, as somebody who gave back,
Yeah.
somebody who did things for the community, somebody who helped other people, with a leg up into a new career, whatever it
Mhm.
is. Like that's what I want to be known for.
Yeah, me
Um,
too. That's
so
exactly it. My kids say the same thing, but I do want to leave a legacy. I want to feel like at my celebration of life, that's exactly what you're doing. You're saying, man, she helped me, or she was fun, or she gave, or you know what I
yeah,
mean? I want that, and I want to live that life of being
right,
that person, not
right.
just being stroked. I want to be that person, right?
Maybe we should have those celebrations of life before we die.
Yeah,
Like, let's just have a big party.
I like
And
that.
you guys can all tell me how amazing I am. Yeah.
I know. It feels so
Yeah,
good.
it does. It does feel good to know that you help somebody get, and I think that's why I like real estate too, because you get to help people fulfill their dream
Yeah.
of home ownership or whatever it is. And it's challenging and sometimes super frustrating, but
Mhm.
so are agents. So are
Yep.
people on my team. They can be
Yep.
super challenging and super frustrating sometimes. And especially when they have those little mental blocks that they go through. And it's like, okay, let's figure out what is going on? What are your limiting beliefs? What is happening in your head right now?
Yeah.
Who traumatized you? Like what's happening? So we
Right.
just have to work through it.
Right. I've got something on here saying that Teresa's outer pilot entered the waiting room. Do you want that in there?
No, get it, it can go out. I don't
Okay.
know. You know what? It does it all the time. It didn't show me that, but
Well, I
I had
just
it turned
nixed it.
off.
I
Yeah.
have bubbles and it'll pop up and I'm like, why are you in here? I did not ask you to come in, but it's tied into something else. So
Mine
anyway,
goes into everything. I need to just
figure it
delete
out.
something.
It's just too time consuming to figure it out.
I never read them.
So tell me, you've got something like how to become the mayor of the town. Tell me what that means.
Well, yeah, I have talked on this a couple of times because people have noticed and asked about it. But a long time ago, somebody from the stage said, "Don't be a secret agent."
Mm.
And it was right about the time that somebody told me, it was early in my career, that somebody said, "Oh, I forgot you're an agent." And I was
Oh,
like, "How? How did you forget I'm an agent? I work all the time." And like it really, I had to really start like diving deep into myself, going, "What in the world am I doing wrong?" And at that point, I decided to be the mayor of my town. And
mm.
I was like, nobody will ever, like a Scarlet O'Hara, as God is my witness. And that's how I felt like nobody's ever going to forget that I am in real estate again. So I enlisted my kids who were, I don't know, probably elementary school, middle school at the time. And I was like, hey, I need y'all to know that I'm a real estate agent and that all your friends need to know I'm a real estate agent, and make sure their parents. And when you go to their house, if they talk about selling a house, I need you to tell them to call me and blah, 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 blah. So it's like closings equal college. Let's go. And so my girls were really big into this. They thought we're helping. I got them little name tags. We were
Oh,
really like we were selling real estate together so they could go to college. And they can have close because closings
of
also equal
course, of
close.
course.
So we did that. And then I started just doing some of the other stuff that you can do, the advertising. Back then it was print, right? Because that was
Mhm.
almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was pre, the big Z word and pre this and pre that and no social media like that. So I started that way and always wearing my name tag, always making sure that people knew. And then the social media craze came and the video craze came, and I thought, oh, I don't want to do videos. Like I look bad today, or I like this, or I like that. And then I I was like, you know what? Done makes more money than perfect every single day.
Yep.
So I'll just do
Right.
it. I'll just do it. And the more authentic I was and the more real I was, the more people would come to me or clients would call to me. And then got to the point where people would call me and ask me, who's your doctor? Who's your this? Who's your that?
Mm,
And I would share it with them. I don't care. That's not
right.
proprietary to me, right? And then, it just kind of grew. And then I started doing this series called Miss Busted. And I had a Sherlock Holmes outfit on with a little hat, and it was very dramatic. And I would bust myths. I would bust real estate myths in these segments, and then they would go everywhere. And I would go to conferences and stuff, and people would say, "I saw you. Did you have the little Sherlock Holmes hat on?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry." But I mean, it was something that
It
people
was
remembered.
unique. It
It
was
was something
unique.
that people remembered. Then we started doing Teresa on the Town, which was we went to different businesses, and it was a little bit more put together than Miss Busted, but it was showcasing their business, why they got into it, what was it was all mom and pops and things like that. And we
Yeah.
still do it. We still do that series. And then people resonated with that too, and people shared that because it wasn't about me, it was about their Uncle Lou or whoever.
Yes.
So we did that. And then community. I just started, like, I used to go to those town meetings and when planning and zoning things, boring, all the stuff. And I would go to that stuff. And then it was like I got involved in a couple of charities that I really, really liked and started donating my time. So it wasn't like I do golf tournaments, but it wasn't a golf tournament. It was
Mhm.
something that I could feel good about, passionate about, and feel like
Yeah.
I was giving back. And then it really started kicking in that anybody who knew me was referring me.
Mm.
If somebody said real estate, they say, "Oh, Teresa Cowart, she's in this, or she's in that, or she's on that board, or she volunteers her time here, or whatever." In the meantime, my kids were competition cheerleaders, and we were
Mm.
traveling all over the place. And it was a crazy time in my life because I feel like I used to tell my children all the time, we don't have a normal life because we come home at 10 or 11 o'clock on school nights. We've just eaten fast food at some point during that time. You went to practice. I did this. I was working in the car. I was doing, but I always say you like choose your hard. You can work hard now or you can work hard later.
Right.
So I worked really hard back then. So I don't have to work as hard now unless I choose to. And of course, I still choose to because that's who I am, but it's different now because now I'm trying to enrich other people's lives. I'm trying
Right.
to help
Right.
them. Yeah.
When you were talking about that, interviewing like the mom and pops, I
Mhm.
have taught agents for the longest time. I said, if you really want to win people over, I said, go interview the vendor that you're working with, your mortgage guy, your termite guy, your plumber, your electrician, and ask them different things that people want. Do it live, even on a
Yep.
Facebook Live, because people will have questions for them, right? And
Mhm.
I said, and you download that, you give that to that guy. And first of all, do you think they're going to remember you? Here you are, the realtor, giving them promotion like this. They love that stuff.
Absolutely.
And I only had 2 agents ever follow that process. And one of them, I just interviewed her and did a YouTube interviewing her about it. I showed her YouTube channel. And because the reason I did is because she got business from it. And I said,
Absolutely.
this is what happens. I'm like so surprised when people won't get this. And like you said about a video, this is what we look like.
Mhm.
That's it.
Mhm.
Some
Yeah.
days I'm a
Some
lot
days a little
older than
better,
you.
some days a little worse.
Yeah,
But yeah.
it's like, don't
Yeah.
get that camera so close. But
Mhm.
the reality is, I remember doing an open house Facebook Live. I was going to be presenting it, and I'm out front, and I realized I have no idea the name of the street that I'm on, no idea the number of it. And I just put it out there. I said, oh my gosh, here I am doing an open house. I'm in Huntersville somewhere. And I said,
Yeah.
here's the address on the house. Now we got to figure out the street. And one agent who was watching it live, not even with my company, gave me the address. And I go, girl, thank you so much. And people push that around like crazy because it was real. It was just
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody cares. I mean,
nobody cares.
that's authentic.
It's
And I
authentic.
think, I've kicked off my shoes and run around barefoot with people's kids, and that's been caught on video. Like I didn't do it on purpose, I promise you, because I don't look good running. But I've done all these things, and it's like I'm just real. Like I'll sit on the floor with the dogs from the adoption center. Like I don't care. That's just who I am. And if you get it on video, great. And if you don't, I didn't do it for that purpose anyway. But it does appear for you. It doesn't make people understand that she's just a real person.
Yeah.
She's just a real person. You can approach her. You can ask her questions. I give it free advice all the time. And I always say that my advice is free. When I start writing stuff on paper for you, then you got to pay. But just you and I talking, that is 100% free.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to share, because anytime I can educate anybody about real estate, that's a win for everybody.
That's a win for everybody. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So how did you go from just being an individual agent to growing a team? And before you answer that, are you in Savannah?
I am. Mm-hmm.
And so you're with Remax?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you said, I'm going to start a team. Were you with Remax when you started the team?
I have been with Remax. I left for 6 months, my second year, because I got talked into it. And let me just go on record, if somebody's trying to talk you into leaving, you better know you want to leave, because people leave all the time and then they're not happy that they left, because everybody always promises the moon and then you get there and that's not what's there. But a lot of times. But anyhow, I got pulled out and then I came back. I just knew that was where I wanted to be. It just felt like home to me. So I came back. And it doesn't have to be Remax. It can be wherever you feel like it's home. Whatever brokerage, whatever office, independent, whatever it is. Just find where you feel like it's home.
Right.
And so I did go back, and then a couple years later, the two ladies that owned it and had started it wanted to retire. So myself and two other partners bought it in 2013. And I do not manage the brokerage. One of my partners does, because I had managed my team, and that's where my heart is. So I do that, but he manages the actual brokerage. And so now we have 3 offices, and we actually service Savannah and about an hour around it. And then we also do Hilton Head and Bluffton, because it's right across the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
So we do, some of us have South Carolina license, and we do that too. But anyway, no, I didn't wake up one day and say, I would like to have this amazing, huge team that drives me absolutely insane and keeps me up at night. No, that just kind of happened the year that I sold. I think it was like year 3 or 4. I sold 89 homes by myself with a part-time assistant. And I had no life. My hair was falling out. Like it was crazy. And I just thought, this is not the life that I want. And yes, I like money and I want to send my kids to college, but at the same time, I like being with them too. And I want to have a life. So I hired a full-time assistant, and that was super helpful. And then I had a guy approach me who ended up being one of my good friends, and he wanted to be my buyer's agent. And I was like, I don't need a buyer's agent. I just need somebody to help me. He goes, no, you need a buyer's agent. Like, I've seen your numbers. And he was in the car dealership before and had some heart issues. And he was like, and you would never know it to look at him, but he was like, I just need, and I was like, you went from car business to real estate and you think that's going to help your heart, honey?
Yeah.
Like, no. But in any case, he did become my buyer's agent. He was uber successful. And then we hired some more as we went along. And about 5 years out, he went out on his own. He stayed with Remax, but he went out on his own because he didn't really want to be part of a big team. And that was kind of, it was like 2009 or 10. And people didn't even really know what teams were.
Right.
Like I remember the first award I got for being like the number 3 team in the state or something. I wasn't even at the award ceremony. I had no idea. I was like, what? Somebody, another lady that was there brought it back to me. And she's like, you got this award. And I was like, what? So I was too busy working. But anyhow, that's how it started. And then I probably had 5 or 6 agents for several years. And then it just started. The more business that I got, the more I realized. And then, of course, all the online leads started too. And we bought into some of that. And it just became, I think 2009 or 10 is when I got my Boomtown account. And once that all happened and I got into real estate coaching, that's when it really became more of a business. Like it was serious.
Were you getting coaching or were you coaching?
No, I was getting coaching. I'm still in coaching. Today, my coaching call was this morning at 8:30. Like I'm still in coaching because I feel like that everybody has to be accountable. And everybody needs somebody that will bust their chops and remind them that, this can all go away in a minute if you don't work and do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's how it started. And over time it's evolved. And there are some things that we do today. I remember she gave me a production, what she called it, the production report. It was a huge Excel spreadsheet is what it is. And actually it's on my screen right now behind you. And she said, I need you to put down every da, 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 da. And I'm not uber analytical and I'm intuitive, but I'm not super. Anyway, my assistant at the time said, you're not going to do that. Like, that's not going to ever happen. I was like, not only am I going to do it, but you're going to make sure I do it. Like, well, this is going to happen because we're spending too much money on this for it not to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell her she's not worth it if we don't do what she says. So even though I have all these fancy programs now, I still have my spreadsheet. Like and it's color coded. It is a spreadsheet on crack. Like, it is amazing.
Now,
But
do you do it, or does your assistant?
No, it is my baby.
Oh,
like, I take their information and like it just has all of our deals on it, all of our clothes, and we use other programs so I can counter check it. But mine is actually most of the time more accurate than theirs. So I do keep it and keep track of it. But I get the information from them. I have my office manager just had access to it. So she can tell me if I put something in wrong or if something terminated or whatever. But we have lots of systems and processes, so it's pretty easy to keep track of it. Everything is automated. I remember I had my little rolly cart with all my files in it. And if you've been doing this as long as me, you know that we used to take files with us everywhere we went. And then we got SkySlope, and I was like, I will never carry another file as long as I live.
Yeah.
It's all in the cloud, and I can just pull it up.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's talk tech. So are you much of a techie?
I'm more of a techie than I ever thought I wanted to be because we just have to be, right? And the good thing about, and I'm not selling coaching, but the good thing about coaching is you can throw something out in a Facebook group or whatever, or any of the real estate groups and say, who's used this or who's done this. Does it work? Because in the beginning, I threw away a lot of money, as most agents do, because we didn't know. And so now I throw it out there and everybody's like, nope, stay away from that. Or yes, I think that's amazing. So we use Slack for our communication. We have an accountability channel, and everybody puts in their accountability every day for safety and for convenience. Because if we know that you're showing houses in a certain area, if something has to be done in that area, we have another client that wants to see something, or a check needs to be picked up at an attorney's, then we will know where you're at, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if your husband calls me at 10 o'clock at night and says he hasn't seen you, and I can look at Slack and say, last thing that she was supposed to have been doing on here was at this address at this time.
Are you saying that you have everybody kind of report in on there on Slack?
They do. They report every morning at 8:30 what areas they're going to be in.
Oh.
I'm going to be in Effingham. I'm going to be Southside Savannah. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be there. And it's not, I'm not micromanaging them because
I get it
for that. But it's just like we know where they're at. Like, we know if we need them, what area they're in. And sometimes they'll put at noon, I'm getting my hair done. I'll be out of pocket for 2 hours. Like, I don't care. I don't care where you're doing. I don't really think you should do your hair at noon, but whatever. I'm not going to, that's your business. You manage it. But at the same time, it gives us a little bit of an awareness of where they're at. And then we also have, if we are about to list something that's on there, if one of the agents needs one of the junior agents to run their open house, they'll put, I'm having an open house at 123 Easy Street this weekend. Who would like to host it for me? And so it's just a communication thing for a lot of different reasons. Traffic, we have traffic on there. I don't know where exactly everybody that's watching this list. I mean, some places you want to know if 95's backed up. So you can avoid it.
That's a good idea.
So they'll put on there, huge pile up 95 north, avoid.
Wow, that's a great idea. I use it. I've got guys that I work with in Portugal that help me with my podcast, and we're 5 hours different. And so like right now it's 9:17 their time, and I will have, like, right before I go on with somebody like you doing this, sometimes they're a no-show. And I'm like, okay, they were a no-show. Just letting you know, do not reschedule. I didn't hear from them. I text them, they didn't respond, so they're a no-show. Do not reschedule. But I'm not expecting them to respond to that at 9 o'clock at night. But it's a great tool. And we had somebody that they had gotten on here, and I said, this is not a good person for my podcast. It doesn't fit my avatar per se of what I'm doing. Because for me, just so you know, my target market on here is the 40-plus-year-old agent who is struggling out there, who's trying to figure out. I just got off the phone with a woman who's 72 and she's got no end game and
Yeah.
she's struggling.
Yeah.
And that's what is a problem for a lot of agents. They're not staying current with tech. So they don't know that they're just thinking, I should just keep doing what I'm doing. I said, well, let's just think about that. If you're broke after every time you sell a house, what's your plan? What's
Yeah.
your end game? What are you doing that's different to protect yourself, right? And here she is at 72 where the market is slower and she's looking for buyers. I'm thinking that's the last thing I want is buyers when I've got no sellers. So I'd rather find a seller because the buyers are there. But her mindset was off. And I said, and yet sometimes people have a tunnel vision about how to grow, you know, and that's who I want to reach. Let me help you see how you can think different, how to get involved with tech at a smaller level, because some are not even broaching it whatsoever. They're ignoring AI, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because it's too important. I mean, I have conversations with my chat guy. I haven't named him yet, but I'm thinking about it. I have different people that I name within there. And like I have Betty the blogger. She does a lot of my blogs. And so I've taught her who she is. And I'll say, Betty, are you ready? She'll say, give me the transcript. Because
there you go.
You know, and it's
That's
great.
funny. I do that too with Chat GPT. I'm like, tell me blah, 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 blah. Nope. Nope. Go deeper. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. That doesn't sound like me. Do it Southern, you know, or whatever. So it's like, those tools are like, they're amazing.
They're
Like if
amazing.
you want to write a description in the MLS of a house and you give it parameters, like sometimes it goes crazy and then you have to come back and say, hey, I need this in
So many
20
characters.
words or less or whatever, and it'll concise it. But
Yeah.
words I probably wouldn't have thought of using, but it does. So, you know,
Yes.
like you don't have to use it all. Just pick
No.
what you like. You
Yeah.
know?
And tweak it. Make it
Yeah.
yours, but get some parameters that are really good, right? So what I do lately, that Betty the blogger. So when I have a YouTube video that I do, because I do a lot of teaching on ideas for that target audience, right? So now the video's done. I'll go into the transcript. I'll copy the transcript. I'll go into Betty and I'll say, Betty, based on the prompt that she already has, I say, Betty, do you know I'm ready to give you the information for the blog? Are you ready? She'll say, yes, give me the transcript. I'll give her the transcript and she will rewrite it in a 3 to 5 minute parameter read for a blog. And I also I told her in there within her prompt that I want her to link back to the video that it's from so they can watch the full video. Then I have on the next sentence is, if you want to know more like this, link back to the full channel because I'm trying to get my backlinks to my YouTube channel, right? And then if there's somebody who wants to talk to me about business, I have book a strategy call with me. So I've got 3 different link backs in there and I use it on my website for a blog. And then I go over to LinkedIn and I do it as an article with the same thing.
Awesome. Yeah.
So
And all that stuff's out there. You just have to spend a few minutes like researching it or talking to other people in the industry that are doing it well.
Yes.
I don't have a problem calling somebody and say, hey, I saw this on your Instagram or your reel or your this, or which I think that reels are the devil, or just like TikTok, because I get on there and then I'm watching puppies or something after about 20 minutes and 2 hours are gone by and I'm still watching Tucker on TikTok, the little golden retriever or whatever. So I try not to do too much of that unless I'm out in the bed at night and I'm just trying to shut down. But there's lots of stuff out there and it can get overwhelming. Like there's a lot. You just have to pick and choose. Like I'm only going to learn this thing right now.
Right.
And I'll go learn that thing. And I just keep a running list. Actually, it's on my desk. I just keep a running list of things I want to look at or research or whatever that may or may not help us. And likewise, I have a team of a lot of younger people.
Yeah.
And so they are, like today I was doing training using a Mojo dollar and it was not cooperating. And one of my 20 somethings looked at me, who used to be an ISA on my team. And I said, Amani, for the love of God, come up here and teach this class. And so she did. She came up and got behind it and she was like, this is how you do it. And it was giving her some trouble too. And she was like, okay, so do that. And she taught everybody how to do it. And I was like, thank God she was in the class. Like she was in the class and she ended up teaching the class to her peers.
Yeah.
But I don't have to know everything. I just have to
No.
know somebody who does.
That's
you know.
exactly it. But just like you said, you're paying attention to tech. And the
And those
young ones,
VAs that are everywhere that work really inexpensively that are so sweet. Like on my Slack channel, we have our VAs on there too, so that they sign in, they say we're on, and they take turns with Mojo or whatever, and then they're just like, okay, I'm off, it's your turn, or whatever. Here's the category I'm focusing on today, or
oh,
within the CRM or whatever. So we kind of all know. And then there's another channel that's like, I forget what it's called, hot leads or hot something. Like when they talk to somebody and they're, if it's not assigned to somebody, they'll put all the information that they got. They'll just copy and paste it out of Boomtown and put it in there. And then somebody goes and takes care of it, whoever
That's
is
awesome.
available to do it. So there's lots of things you can do with things. And, you don't just wake up one day and go, oh, wow, I know exactly how to use this.
Yeah, no.
There's a lot of trial and error, and you have to forgive yourself for maybe not knowing everything and just understand that you got to learn.
Well, and it's changing at such a rapid pace. And you really do have to pick and choose what it is that's going to be your tool, because you can be completely overwhelmed. And for me, lately, it is YouTube. I have two VAs. I have two different companies that work with my videos as well that I do. And because I'm on a team. I don't have a team. I'm on a team. And I'm at an age in my life where I don't want any of the responsibilities of any other people, but I love the marketing of it. I mean, I could be on my own if I wanted to. I like being on a team where they just do everything for me.
Yeah. If you actually read stuff, you know that the wave is to teams. Like it has been for years.
It is.
There will always be single agents, I'm sure, but the wave is for teams.
Yes.
And I know that there are people who are against it, but I feel like that if you're on the right team, that it's an amazing place to be, because these are your people. Like these are my people. I love these people. These people have my back. I have theirs.
Yeah,
If I don't know what they do, it's a great selling tool.
Yeah, it is.
When you're talking to a seller, like you don't just get me, you get my entire team.
Right.
And if I don't know every single thing, then I have somebody who does that whole thing, especially for younger people or for people just starting out in real estate. I wish with everything in me that there had been a team I could have joined when I first started.
Me too.
My life, I wouldn't have had been quite so tired the first couple of years. I could have had somebody else help me along, but
I teach
really no reason.
I teach every new agent when they're coming on, they're saying, what should I do? I said, join a team, start interviewing teams. And not every team is created equal.
No.
And I do tell them, I think it's important to pay attention to who the company is. I leveled up. I was with Remax probably when you started. I think I started with Remax in 2009. And I was there 7 years, had a partner there, built a good business there. But there was a time for me where I walked away. I just didn't feel the need anymore, and I moved on. And that's what I think is very important for agents to pay attention. Like this is your business. Where are you going to build your business? And not to be afraid of being open to exploring other opportunities.
Right.
You bought into the business. I mean, you're literally the owner of your franchise there, one of them, right?
Yeah. And if you look back on that, was that a smart decision? I don't know. But at the time, it was the right thing to do. And you don't have to be the owner forever. You can always sell your share or whatever.
Right.
But just because you join a team doesn't mean you always have to be on a team.
Right.
Like you can graduate and be your own. I have people that are on my team for 7, 8, 9 years. And they just come to me one day and say, hey, I think I want to do my own thing. Like I'll teach you how to start a team if you want to start a team. We've had sub teams on our team before where they had their little group, and then it's like, it doesn't, like you do you, like whatever makes you happy, because if you're not happy and enjoying real estate, then you're not going to do well in it.
Right. Right.
You're just not.
This has been great. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, I'm just following your lead.
Okay, great.
I love what I do every single day. It's not even, what is it that there's a couple of things. Like I remember Zig Ziglar saying, if you help other people get what they want, you always get what you want. And that really dates me. But I was just a child when I heard that. And then I just really honestly believe that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I love my people. And I hope we're good to everybody. We're the #1 team in our area and have been since 2011. We're #2 in the state because the #1 girl up there sleeps with the builder. It's her husband. She's allowed to sleep.
I was going to say,
she's very
did
sweet
not
too.
say
She's
that.
so nice. She's just so nice. We always make the Real Trends number and all that kind of stuff. And yes, all that stuff is important to me. But in the end, it's how you make people feel, whether they're clients or people on your team or people in your community, like that. I only got that because of how I made people feel.
Yeah.
From day one to now. So it's really about how you make people feel. People do business with people they like and trust. And people want to be your friend if they like and trust you. So, I mean, you have to do you, but this is who I am. And I got no apologies. There's good days, there's bad days, and there's every day in between. So.
Yeah, it's so true. Well, thank you so much. This has been wonderful, Teresa. I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you having me on always. I like telling my story because I feel like I'm giving a little kudos to my grandma. So I do enjoy it, and I love real estate. So there you go.
There you go.
Okay.
Well, thanks everybody. And if you like this, please share it, like it, spread the word, and next time.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
So thanks for joining me on this episode of Real Estate Riches. Wasn't that great? I'm sure you got a nugget or two. I know I did. So if you liked it, please subscribe below, share it with everybody, make some comments. We really find that invaluable. And if you're thinking that you would love to talk about this a little bit more, let's schedule a business strategy call. I'll have the link below. Let's see if we can't mastermind together and see if we can empower each other. That would be great. So until next time, signing off. Hope to see you on the next one.